anyone who has ever had the misfortune to take up the mantle of philosophy online, especially on a site such as YouTube that is dripping with ADHD-laden trickery and nihilistically hollow charlatans, surely has encountered this formidable thinker. He inspires yet frustrates. He creates disciples while also leaving apostates and false prophets littered along the side of digital highways like yesterday's favored toys. Today's Labubu might be yesterday's Furby, with the differences paling in comparison to those empty, meaningless eyes. For all his own warts, it's hard to hold the man himself accountable. After all, he has been a singular voice of reason amidst so many chattering and useless purveyors of microwaved idiocy. It's only natural that he would produce imitators. Yes, my studious friends, I'm talking about the one and the only, the always imitated but never replicated Slavoj Zizek. It's time to get real about one of the most radical and rational thinkers of our entire era. Now, before any of you rush in to cancel me for invoking the master's name here, I want to convey that this is an appraisal I think very necessary today to help redirect the small glimmer of light left in our pitiful discourse into a roaring and vengeful fire of truth. Maybe even absolute truth, as our Hegelian master might put it. Those quick to judge my invocation of the Slovenian iconoclast might be wondering if I'm going to take a cheap shot at old Slavoj for making some snide and offensive comment about today's victim group du jour.
That's my problem with cancel culture. I'm not against it. I mean, against its goals. But you know what? Cancel culture fights for diversity and inclusion. Perfect. But didn't you notice how there are practically, apart from empty phrases, equality, blah, blah, no positive models?
Well, those kinds of comments maybe reflect that our Titan is getting on in age and realistically should offend any rationalist and sober sensibility, even if they may seem necessary for pushing the true radical agenda. I am not here to denounce or try to cancel one of the greatest philosophers of our or any other generation. In fact, disciplined and militant followers of this channel should know that much. Like Hassan Piker's so-called Kaya, my refrain is that we must always rise above gossip and things which don't matter too much. No, I am not here to talk about some comment that Zizek made which ruffled feathers, or to position myself as more enlightened than him. Rather, the reason I am making this visual intervention onto YouTube is much more simple, even though also much more difficult for many to actually swallow, let alone digest. Among Zizek's recent comments, which provoked the most ire in the unwashed masses of imitators, he indicated a certain hesitation about rushing to condemn Charlie Kirk in the wake of his cowardly murder. He pointed out that Kirk was doing something which today's left was not even ready to do, namely to present his own position openly and honestly in the public sphere and left space for others to do the same. He correctly noted that when leftists had any engagement with Kirk, it was by shouting and interrupting him, rather than first stating their position clearly and engaging in a logical and rigorous battle of ideas. Concluding that there was something refreshing in the mode of dialogue that Kirk advanced, Zizek simply condemned himself to much more of the same thing that he diagnosed about these childish, immature leftists in their response to Kirk. He's been shouted down and betrayed even by some of his staunchest defenders, all because people want their laughs and to fit in with the vague in-crowd on social media who are memeing Kirk to death. But he was in the right, and rationalist friends, I am tempted to say that even in his own way, Kirk too was in the right. Of course, we know that truly wielding a critical philosophical approach could bring down Kirk, but what actually brought him down was the violence of a psychotic gunman who remained at a distance from him. There's something sad in that, my fellow realists, because the terrain of battle is being abandoned by those such as us who know that what is demanded is that we use our voices and intellects to battle on behalf of the truth. Zizek has always been a shining example of a singular force for radical, realist, and rationalist truth. He is the truest example of a public intellectual that we will know, and we are lucky to still have his voice. As the masses of immature and coddled leftists seek to dismiss him, we need his iconoclasm more than ever. And dare I say it, we need the iconoclasm and willingness to take principled stance that Charlie Kirk represented, which continues to capture otherwise decent people who may be people we can persuade. There are no easy answers, because those who mock and laugh over Kirk's violent death also mock and dismiss rational discourse itself. We need to remain disciplined in our quest for truth, and one way we can do that is by embracing Zizek's example in all its ferocious glory, not only in a quick laugh about his mannerisms or his amusing takes on pop culture in connection to difficult but necessary philosophy. If only more on YouTube would stand and carry this flame, we would be much better off. So have at me in the comments if you want. It will only prove that you too disgrace the rationalist banner that Zizek so rightfully represents. I exhort you instead to take 5 minutes of calm and rational deliberation, focusing your energy on the rigor and realness that true radicalism demands of us. Realist out.